Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing amazing today. In this video, we're diving into the latest updates about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. You don't want to miss this. So make sure to stay tuned till the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. The world of daytime television froze in disbelief when the first emergency alert surfaced early this morning. Mark Consuelos had been rushed to the hospital and placed on life support. For millions of viewers who had grown accustomed to his warmth, humor, and flawless chemistry with Kelly Ripa on screen, the news arrived like a punch to the chest. But for Kelly, the woman who has spent decades loving him, supporting him, and building a life with him, this was something far worse. It was a nightmare she couldn't wake up from. A routine morning turns into a tragedy. According to close family friends, the day began like any other. Mark had woken up early, preparing for a regular recording schedule. There were no warnings, no preceding symptoms severe enough to raise alarm, only a slight discomfort he reportedly brushed off as stress or fatigue. Kelly later said through a trembling voice, "If I had known he wasn't feeling well, I would have stopped everything. I would have dragged him to the hospital myself." But life rarely gives warnings before it breaks. Around mid-morning, while rehearsing for an upcoming segment, Mark collapsed. Crew members scrambled to help him, and emergency services arrived within minutes. What started as confusion quickly shifted into horror as paramedics struggled to stabilize him before rushing him into the ambulance. The hospital scene, a storm of fear. By the time Kelly reached the hospital, chaos was already unfolding. The fight for Mark's life was underway behind tightly closed doors, doors that kept her just far enough away to shatter her. Witnesses described Kelly as devastated, inconsolable, shaken to the core. She tried to steady herself, clutching a folded script still in her hand, proof that she, too, had walked straight out of work when the call came. "I just need to see him," she whispered repeatedly. But for hours, no one could let her inside. The medical team needed space, focus, and absolute concentration. Mark's condition was rapidly deteriorating, and every second counted. Through those agonizing hours, Kelly's thoughts replayed their entire life together like fragments of a film, meeting on the set of All My Children, falling in love in secret, eloping, raising 3 children, navigating fame side by side. It was unbearable to imagine any of it without Mark. Doctors deliver the hardest news. It wasn't until late afternoon that doctors gave Kelly a chance to sit down with them. The news was devastating. They explained that Mark's condition had escalated quickly, far more aggressively than expected. They placed him on life support to prevent further decline while they identified the underlying cause. The doctor's voice, calm yet heavy, echoed in the small room. "We're doing everything we can." Kelly nodded, but truthfully, she wasn't hearing much anymore. Her mind was drowning in fear. All she could think was, "This is Mark. My Mark. This isn't supposed to happen." A family rushed together by crisis. Within hours, their children, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, flew back home. The moment they walked into the hospital, the weight of the situation hit them like a tidal wave. Despite their public upbringing, nothing could have prepared them for this. Michael held his mother tightly as she wept into his shoulder. Lola stood motionless, shock washing over her face. Joaquin, the youngest, clenched his jaw, trying desperately not to break. They entered Mark's room together, hands intertwined, afraid of the silence, afraid of the machines keeping him alive, afraid of what tomorrow might bring. Inside, Kelly's composure finally collapsed. She took Mark's hand and pressed it to her face, tears dripping onto the sheets. "I'm right here, honey," she whispered, her voice trembling. "You're not going anywhere. Not like this. Not today." The world reacts to the shocking news. As soon as news sources confirmed the emergency, social media erupted. Colleagues, co-stars, and celebrities from across the industry sent messages of support and disbelief. Ryan Seacrest wrote, "Mark is one of the strongest people I know. We're all praying for him." Fans worldwide expressed their heartbreak, posting clips of Mark and Kelly laughing together on screen, celebrating anniversaries, or sharing touching family stories. But behind the global display of solidarity was an undeniable truth. No one knew what would happen next. Kelly's private pain behind the cameras. While the public watched closely, Kelly retreated into the deepest corners of her grief. She refused interviews, refused to go home, refused to sleep. Nurses saw her pacing the corridor late into the night, hands clasped tightly, eyes red and exhausted. Some staff said they'd never seen someone so broken yet so determined. This wasn't a celebrity dealing with a crisis. This was a wife terrified of losing the love of her life. She spoke to Mark endlessly, even though he couldn't respond. She told him stories, reminded him of birthdays, anniversaries, private jokes. She begged him to fight. She begged him not to leave her. "We still have so much to do," she said softly. "We promised each other forever. I meant that." A glimmer of hope and another setback. Late into the second night, doctors noticed slight improvement in Mark's vitals. The family held onto that tiny spark like it was life itself. Kelly kissed his forehead, crying tears of relief she hadn't allowed herself to feel in days. But hope, as fragile as glass, shatters easily. Just hours later, Mark's condition dipped again. Doctors rushed in. Machines beeped erratically. Kelly stood frozen outside the room, unable to breathe, unable to move, terrified that these might be the last moments she would ever share with him. Thankfully, the medical team was able to stabilize him. But the message was clear. The next 48 hours would be critical. A love story caught between life and loss. Kelly has always described her love for Mark as something unshakable. Two people bound by destiny, strengthened by time, protected by loyalty and absolute devotion. They were partners in every sense. Their connection felt almost unbreakable. But now, sitting beside him, she realized how fragile human life truly is. She gently brushed his hair back, her voice cracking as she whispered, "You're my home, Mark. Not the house, not the show, not the fame. You. Only you." Her words hung in the air, raw and full of truth. This wasn't just a medical emergency. It was the test of a lifetime for a love that had survived everything, except this. Hollywood quietly holds its breath. From New York to Los Angeles, production studios halted plans, waiting for updates. Mark wasn't just a familiar face. He was respected, admired, and loved. His reputation as a kind-hearted, hard-working professional was unmatched. Former co-stars shared stories of his generosity, staying late to help new actors rehearse, sending gifts to crew members on holidays, going out of his way to make people feel valued. It became painfully clear that losing Mark would mean losing a piece of Hollywood's heart. Kelly's emotional message to fans. On the third night, Kelly finally released a short message through her spokesperson. "Please keep Mark in your prayers. We are fighting. He is fighting." It was brief, trembling with hope and heartbreak, but it was enough. Her message united millions of fans in prayer, vigils, and heartfelt messages. Outside the hospital, a small crowd gathered quietly, holding candles, pictures, and handwritten notes. Some cried, some prayed, some simply stood in silence, letting their presence speak. The unseen battle beyond the cameras. Inside the hospital room, Kelly refused to leave his side. She talked to the doctors. She studied every chart. She memorized every number on every machine. It was as if learning the science could protect her from the pain. But deep down, she knew science wasn't the only thing keeping him alive. Love was. Her unwavering voice, her trembling hand holding his, her presence, these were the things fighting beside him. A rising sunrise after a terrifying night. As dawn approached on the fourth day, sunlight finally slipped through the hospital window. Kelly looked up, exhausted, emotionally drained, but still hopeful. For the first time in days, Mark's condition showed signs of slow but steady improvement. His oxygen levels stabilized, his blood pressure eased. The frantic beeping of machines settled into a calmer rhythm. The doctors didn't promise miracles, but they offered something Kelly hadn't felt since the moment she received that terrible phone call. Hope. Real hope. The fight continues, Mark remains on life support, and although the road ahead is long, the possibility of recovery is finally within reach. Kelly stays beside him, day and night, whispering strength into his soul. No cameras. No scripts. No show. Just a woman trying to hold on to the love of her life. Because for Kelly Ripa, the world can break, careers can fall, fame can fade. But losing Mark is the one thing she cannot imagine surviving. And so she fights. He fights. And together, they cling to the promise that their story is not over yet. Stay tuned for all the updates about Kelly Ripa. We are the first to publish all the information about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. So stay with us to get all the latest updates. And stay tuned to our Kelly and Mark report for all updates.